Hello my motor enthusiasts. You're locked into F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello there, Enzo. Quite a debate stirring in the F1 world, isn't there?
Absolutely, William. The drivers are raising concerns about the packed schedules of F1 weekends.
Ah, yes. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, they are not too happy, they.
Indeed, they feel F1 is becoming more of a show than it was a few years ago. But not everyone shares their view.
Oh? Who's on the other side of the fence?
World champion Lewis Hamilton, to name one. He believes the increasing showmanship is necessary to attract viewers.
Interesting, so a balance between entertainment and sport is the question.
Precisely. But that's not all. Let's not forget the chilly conditions the drivers are facing.
Right, it's expected to be the coldest temperatures faced by F1 drivers in many years.
And while they're grappling with that, there's also the fierce battle for 7th place in the championship.
Yes, between Williams and AlphaTauri. It's all heating up, isn't it?
It surely is. Let's delve deeper into all these matters, shall we?
Absolutely, Enzo. Looks like we're in for quite a riveting conversation on F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hey everyone. This is Enzo, your favorite Formula One aficionado.
And I'm William, your dedicated race commentator.
We're here with you every day on F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our daily dose of motorsports analysis. Let's go full throttle. So, there's been some discontent within the ranks. The Las Vegas Grand Prix is stirring the pot, with Liberty Media investing over $500 million in the event.
Yes, and it hasn't gone down too well with the locals, has it?
Certainly not. Businesses and residents have been disrupted for almost 4 months due to the construction work.
And the event itself seems to be quite the spectacle, bordering more on entertainment than actual racing.
Yes, with an opening ceremony featuring Kylie Minogue and the F1 drivers being introduced like show ponies, it's received a mixed reaction.
I heard Max Verstappen wasn't too pleased, was he?
Not at all. He described the weekend as 99% show and 1% sporting event.
Carlos Sainz is calling for a review too, isn't he?
He certainly is. He feels the demands of an F1 weekend are becoming too onerous on the drivers.
And Lando Norris isn't the biggest fan of the media events either.
That's true. The balance between entertainment and sport is definitely a hot topic in Formula One right now. Let's delve more into that, shall we? Meanwhile, Lando Norris echoes the sentiment of Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz. He feels that the focus of late is more on the spectacle than on the racing itself.
Have to agree there. It seems Formula One is walking a tightrope between entertainment and motorsport.
Indeed. Going on, George Russell has raised concerns whether the Las Vegas circuit, with its extended straights, will deliver on the action front.
True, low downforce packages and long straights might not provide the best overtaking opportunities.
However, Lewis Hamilton seems to be more optimistic. He believes that the track configuration could lead to chaotic races, similar to what we saw in Azerbaijan.
Interrupting you there, it's important to note that the Baku circuit, as Hamilton mentioned, is significantly different with its twisty layout. So, it might not be as straightforward a comparison.
Valtteri Bottas seems to share Hamilton's optimism, stating that the Las Vegas circuit could make for good racing, with its long straights offering ample slipstreaming opportunities. He also draws a comparison to parts of Baku, with its 90-degree corners and long straights.
That's an interesting perspective. But one can't ignore the fact that the circuit does look narrower in some parts.
You're spot on. Moving forward, there's a big unknown that could significantly influence the course of the race. The temperatures in Las Vegas at this time of year are some of the coldest that Formula One drivers have encountered in years.
True, tyre management will be more crucial than ever.
Getting the tyres up to temperature and maintaining that temperature could pose a significant challenge. Alex Albon, in particular, believes that this could lead to some big surprises. He seems rather hopeful about the situation.
How so?
He mentioned that the track's layout, as well as the colder temperatures, could play into their hands. It appears that getting the tyres to work in such temperatures could be a real challenge. However, he feels that this could suit his team much more.
It will be interesting to see how this plays out.
It certainly will. We should also keep an eye on the battle for 7th place between Williams and AlphaTauri. The gap in points between the teams is just 7, and with significant prize money at stake, it's bound to get heated. The return of Daniel Ricciardo from injury has also boosted AlphaTauri, who've been performing stronger in recent races. It appears that as the Vegas race reaches its peak, so too does the division amongst the teams and drivers.
Indeed, the opinions are quite split on this one. Some believe it's a great step towards making the sport more entertaining, others seem to worry it might detract from the essence of racing.
That's the crux of the issue, isn't it? Striking the balance between the spectacle and the sport. As the teams and drivers get ready to take to the track, all we can do is wait and watch how it all unfolds.
And hope that whatever happens, it's the spirit of the sport that ultimately wins.
William, why don't we have a look at what the fans are saying online about the glitzy Las Vegas F1 opening ceremony?
Yes. Listen to this. George H. said, quote, Verstappen felt like a clown at glitzy Las Vegas F1 opening ceremony, unquote.
Oh, really? That should spark some interesting comments.
Oh, it certainly did. For instance, Marianne says, quote, Max isn't a Hunger Games fan, I see, unquote.
She might be onto something there.
Then, BEA Rota adds, quote, I bet many felt that way, unquote. And Boris C. responded to BEA with, quote, Yuki was already going down before he could wave, unquote. Apparently, there's even a debate about Yuki's height sparked by Ninth Time's comment, quote, dude, don't joke about his height, unquote.
Quite a lively discussion, I see.
Indeed. Another user, Jordan, chimed in, saying, quote, I was just going to say it felt like the Hunger Games, unquote. Nope not really replied with, quote, and Max is District 1, unquote.
They really are having a field day with this, aren't they?
Oh, it doesn't end there. A user named Sam even suggested that Daniel Ricciardo had volunteered as tribute. But it's not all jokes. Slow Thrill, for example, said, quote, in my 30 years of watching Formula 1 this was the weirdest thing I ever saw. It stands so far off what F1 used to be. Heroes on a racetrack becoming legends, unquote.
Well, it's certainly making waves. Anything else worth mentioning?
Quite a few users, like OKDocument, voiced their frustration with the gimmicky nature of recent races. They think the sport is losing its dignity due to the glitz and glamour. However, others found the complaints overblown, like Always a Hawk, who said, quote, this happens with every American F1 event, just the usual complainers around here, unquote.
Sounds like the fans are as divided as the teams on this one.
Seems so. But, Lassiatomy Guider perhaps sums it up best, quote, FOM is going to have to find a better balance between maintaining F1's prestige image without making the product completely inaccessible to the majority of its fan base, unquote.
A valid point. It's always a fine line between spectacle and sport. Thanks for the roundup, William. And that's a wrap for today's episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast. We dove headlong into the hype and controversy surrounding the Las Vegas F1, and I must say, it's been quite the ride. A huge thank you to everyone who's joined us today. If you enjoyed this episode, do hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to activate your notifications. Your support and interaction really mean a great deal to us.
And let's not forget the power of word of mouth. Share our podcast with your fellow F1 enthusiasts, whether that's over a pint at the pub or during your family Sunday roast. If you've liked what you've heard, let us know in the comments.
Yes, we do read those comments, keep them coming. We're here every day, bringing you the latest and greatest from the world of Formula 1, so make sure to tune in again.
And let's just say, we've got some exciting stuff lined up. You won't want to miss it.
So, on behalf of both of us here at F1 Motor Fever podcast, thank you once again for your time and your ears. We can't wait to have you back for the next episode.
Absolutely. And as we always say, Enzo and William together, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold.